Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am Disco Kitty, the Crappy Crafter. Today we're going to be trying out another set of alcohol markers. Now this company, I have heard of them in the past. I may have actually used some of their products, but I'm not really sure. One of the things that they make is alcohol inks for things like resin and stuff like that. So Brea Reese, or Bray Reese. Is it Brea Reese or Bray Reese? I'm not sure. Anyways, so we're gonna try these. You can get these on Amazon for $30, but I got these from BJ's, which is a warehouse store, for $15. So yay, half price. It's 24 markers in the bundle. It comes with the cutest, seriously, this is the cutest carry case. And yeah, I'm excited to give it a try. From the makers of an alcohol ink used in resin and other art forms. Let's see how these markers work. Let's get into it. Okay, let's look at these markers. It has a nice fine tip. It's a bullet tip. It's very rounded. It has a very nice chisel tip. The flow is pretty nice. The barrels are lovely to hold on to. The caps have these little nubbins to really grab on. The barrels are a triangular shape, and they're a soft, rounded triangular shape. And I really like how they feel in my old fat hands. I don't do well with skinny pens and pencils anymore. I really like the fat barrels. So many blue. So it didn't really bleed through onto the next page, but it did bleed through onto the back of its own page, which is fine. I've seen worse, I've seen better. This is middle of the road. Let's really get into the coloring now. With the rocks, I'm going to layer this one gray with a couple of other different colors, trying to make them different from each other so that they're not all just a solid block of gray in the bottom. That gray is so dark. It would have been nice if there were, you know, 2 or 3 different gray colors would have been nice. Like a really light one for shadows and stuff, you know, just a little bit more variety of the grays, a little bit more variety of the browns. Not 6 blues, but I'll go into that more at the end of the video. Here I'm doing some layers. Layer with some yellow, layer with some red, try to make them look different from each other. Working on the leaves. Put a little yellow in those so that they're not quite so dark green. Working on the water. We'll do this as a 2-tone. It's not going to blend as well as I hoped because I really should have blended the 2 colors more quickly. I let the darker one sit too long and it dried and it just didn't blend quite as well. Which is fine. That's on me. Some alcohol markers dry very quickly, some take a little bit longer to dry, and when they take a little bit longer to dry, I find that they blend together a little bit more easily. These dried pretty quick, so they didn't blend quite as nicely, but that's okay. For the price point, I think they're a really good set of markers. I'll have to go to Amazon and see if I can find these colors in their dropper bottles to see if I can refill them. That would be cool. I don't think that's going to happen, but that would be super cool. And I didn't want this orange to be quite so dark, so I tried to lighten it up with the yellow. It's more obvious in person. Did a little bit different with the tail this time and the fins. I have no idea how to color them and make them pretty, but it's a work in progress. You'll stay with me while I learn, right? I really do like these, and I do recommend them. One thing I do want to address, speaking of, you know, things, I have read your concerns about my lack of crafting, and there will be more crafting, no worries. But for now, we'll do a little crafting, we'll do a little drawing, we'll do a little coloring, and we'll see what happens. So don't lose hope, I will craft again. Well, that came out, you know, pretty decent. I didn't mean to color this one today. I actually have another one that I drew before this. It's a dogfish, but I ended up drawing or coloring my bunnyfish. And you know, that's okay, the dogfish will come. So first I had a catfish, now I have a bunnyfish, and then I'll have a dogfish, and then we'll see where we go from there. So, I drew this myself. You can tell because it's crap. Ugh. That's why I call myself the crappy artist. And before anybody says that I shouldn't, I mean, look at this. It's crap. And I've been calling myself the crappy artist. It's just an affectation. And I've been calling myself that for, geez, almost 20 years now. I used to have a webcomic. It hasn't been updated in a really long time. But that's where I started drawing, and I used to color everything digitally, sometimes with Copic markers when I got them. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Let's focus on this. This is cool. That's nice. The markers work very well. I don't know about this color selection because there are 2 yellows, there are 2 reds, 3 if you count this one as a red. It is very red, but it looks pink. The barrel looks pink, but it's a lot more red. There are 2 pinks, 2 greens, 2 oranges, a gray, which is a blue gray, not a neutral gray, which is what I prefer, but beggars can't be choosers, right? A black, 2 browns, 2 purples, and 6 blue. 6. And there's no question that they're blue because they each have blue in the name. So why 6 blues and 2 of everything else when there could have been lighter browns, lighter grays? 2 of each with some more grays and browns, especially a skin tone would have been really nice, but I'm not working with skin tones. I know you can make skin tone out of this. I'm not that good. I am not an artist. I am just a hobbyist. But either way, there we go. Either way, this set is really cute. Totally worth $15. Probably worth $30. But if you can, get it at the cheaper place. Remember, I bought this at BJ's, which is Berkeley Jensen's. Nobody actually knows it by that name, it's just BJ's. It's kind of like Costco's if you have one of those, except it's not as nice. The one that I have got rid of their food court, which is really upsetting because they had really good, they actually had Dippin' Dots. It's the only place in my area where you could get Dippin' Dots. And I love Dippin' Dots. They freeze your tongue, it's lovely. Anyways, again, neither here nor there. I do recommend these, especially for beginners. They are, at the very least, comparable to the cheap ones that I got from Five Below. I know one would say that they should be 3 times better than the ones from Five Below, but alcohol markers are alcohol markers. There really isn't a hell of a lot of difference between them. Alcohols are different. They don't stink at all, as far as I can tell, unless I'm just used to it. Their flow was pretty good. It could have been a little bit better on the small side, on the bullet side. What do they call it? Just a fine tip. It could have been a little better on the fine tip, but it's a fine tip for a reason, so ink's not going to flow through that as quickly anyways. But it doesn't, I don't think it blended very well. but it layered pretty good. It gave me some interesting effects when I layered it. So, like I said, 2 of each color probably would have been good, you know, 2 red, 2 orange, 2 yellow, green, blue, purple, at least 2 or 3 grays, at least 2 or 3 browns, at least a tan, a flesh color. Black is always useful. The one thing that this absolutely needs is a clear colorless blender. And I know that cheap markers never come with clear colorless blenders, but you know what? I have like 4 or 5 from other sets, so at some point I'll work these into another drawing where I'm using all of the markers together. Eventually what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to move my Copics. Up there, and then I'll put these right here because the switch out will be just about perfect. And at some point I'll do some more coloring with all of them to do an honest comparison with everything that I've got right now. We'll probably get more because, you know, I am obsessed. And when I get obsessed, I buy one of everything. So we'll see what happens. Tell me what you think in the comments. What do you think of my orange rabbit? You know, the color selection was a little limited, like I said a number of times. But I had a lot of fun. As always, it's been very relaxing, and I am rambling way too long making this video, much longer than it should be, so I'm just gonna cut it right here and say see you next week, and stay safe.